Thanks for joining us here on this Sunday. It's RT International. We are covering breaking news for you this hour. A Russian Defense Ministry plane disappearing from radar screens 20 minutes after it took off from the Russian city of Sochi. Russian Defense Ministry is saying 83 passengers and 8 crew members on board. Let's discuss this further now. RT's Emily Sue with us here in the studio. You've got your fingers on the pulse here, getting all the latest information here. Emily, what can you update us with?
Well, Rory, I just want to go through all the information that has been confirmed by the Russian Defense Ministry so far. As you know, it's a very fluid situation, but I can tell you what we know for sure now. We know that the plane disappeared from radar after taking off from Sochi, from the Sochi Adler Airport. It was supposed to take off at 5:20 a.m. Moscow time, and it did. But at 5:40, when it was supposed to check in with the control tower, it didn't. And that's how that we found out that it disappeared from radar. That's the initial report that we have. And we also know that the plane was heading towards the Russian airbase, the Kamenny Air Base in Latakia. And another, we know that there are 91 people on board, 83 passengers and 8 crew members. And of those 83 passengers, it's been confirmed that there are 9 journalists on board. We know that there are also musicians from the official army choir for the Russian Armed Forces. It's called the Alexandrov Ensemble, and it's due to take part in the New Year's concert at the Russian Air Base in Latakia to entertain the soldiers who are stationed there right now. We also know that all the rescue teams in the area, they have been deployed to join the rescue efforts, to join the search efforts. And as for the official reaction, well, we know that the Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, he is coordinating all the search efforts and the rescue efforts as well. And we know that the President, Vladimir Putin, he has been notified, and he is getting all the live updates of all the coordination surrounding this disappearing plane.
All right, so as you say, a fluid situation here, Emily, with bits and pieces of information coming into us here at RT International. You say the Russian president is aware. We understand he's also been a part of the coordination effort with emergency services. It is important to mention, as we are waiting for more information from the Russian Ministry of Defense, that since 1968 there have been 39 fatal accidents with this type of airplane, with this type of Tupolev. In fact, it's been in the air, it's been in operation since 1968. So without rushing to any judgment, it's important to note that it has got a pretty dismal track record when it comes to being a passenger craft. This is a Tupolev Tu-154, a 3-engine airliner designed in the mid-60s, being used by the Russian Ministry of Defense. And you said there was a choir, the official Army choir, the choir of the Russian Army, flying down to Syria for some sort of New Year celebration.
New Year concert, from what we understand, and the soldiers who were stationed there, of course, they will want to take part in the New Year celebrations, festivities, because as you and I both know, New Year is a huge holiday for Russians. So they were there heading towards the Russian airbase in Latakia as part of the New Year program.
And we're still showing this this map here on RT International. We see the original departure point of Sochi there, although you had mentioned earlier that perhaps the plane had originally set off from Moscow.
Yes, that's some reports I've been reading, but that has not been confirmed by the Defense Ministry. That's not been confirmed yet.
So then ultimately the next leg of the journey, leaving from Sochi, only 20 minutes though. So how far south did the plane go? Only 20 minutes after takeoff. Well, I'm sure the Russian emergency services are on that location now with the use of satellite imagery and all sorts of other air-based technology. They will find this location, and we understand the emergency services are in full coordination mode right now. The Tupolev 154, it's been a workhorse of Russian aviation since it's launched. It's got multiple engines, a cruising speed of about 900 kilometers per hour. Flight distance is 4,000 kilometers, so on a full tank, this should have no problem, for example, getting from Sochi down to Latakia on the west coast of Syria. It actually has a passenger capacity of up to 180 people, so in fact, Emily, this plane would not have been full if it can carry 180, because how many people are we understanding?
91 people on board.
91, so it's about half full, this airplane here. So as we continue to get this information here on RT International, I just want to remind you that there have been more than 2, if not 3, approximately, in fact, more than 3 dozen fatal incidents with this type of plane since 1968. In fact, here's a look at the most prominent Tu-154 crashes in recent years. In 2006, a Russian airline plane crashed over Ukraine, killing all 160 on board. The crew made a critical mistake while trying to avoid a storm. And there was another one as well 3 years later.
3 years later, an Iranian airliner crashed in the north of the country. In that case, all 168 people on board died. A faulty engine was identified as the cause of the catastrophe.
Yeah, in fact, and then it was also in 2010 that a plane carrying Poland's president and other top government and military officials crashed in Russia's Smolensk region while landing. That cabin crew made a mistake in conditions of poor visibility. I remember we were doing the story live here on RT with the Polish president's plane crash there, the fog around the airport. The control tower had been saying, try not to land, it's very dangerous, try not to land. But we understand with that Polish president's plane, they did try to land with disastrous and fatal mistakes. Well, any more updates that we can give on this breaking news story with the Tupolev 154? Emily, any more details you're getting for us here?
Not any new information yet, but I can give you a short recap. We know that for sure there's 91 people on board, 83 passengers and 8 crew members. Of those 83 includes 9 journalists and also members, musicians from the official army choir for the Russian armed forces. And they were on their way to Latakia in Syria, to a Russian armed base.
All right, Emily, you do stay with us here and keep us up to date and posted on this developing breaking news story. RT's Emily Sue, thank you.